Milo.
How are you?
I am super excited about ducklings.
I was up at the quack of dawn.
The quack of dawn.
Yeah. we're starting and rolling here.
Just jumping right in.
Yeah.
So, the duckling project is, oh my gosh, I really had a lot of fun figuring this out. And the fiber is this awesome custom blend that we had created from our friends in Italy at DHG, and it's beautiful and it's perfect for chicks too. So at the time of filming, we do not have a duckling supply pack or the fiber listed because we're doing this filming for a special occasion, but very soon we will. So
pretty much if you're watching this like anytime after a week or two after it came out, we'll probably have it. But
so the duckling supply pack is a chunky one because we wanted it to make two because it's more fun. Two is better than one.
Yeah, they need their friends.
It does depend on what you're talking about, I guess. I could, okay, hold on, I won't.
Don't elaborate on that.
Don't elaborate on that. And I went for life size. I mean, they're life size. I'd say they're life size. They're, let's see, they're about 8 inches long, 8 or 9 inches tall. And I'm calling them a level 2 to 3. This is not quite a beginner project. They're just a little bit more complicated than the chicks with their size, the beak, the feet, the shape of the head is a little trickier to get. But they really do come together very similar to the chicks. And what else do I need to say?
I don't know. Great fiber.
Yeah, the fiber's great.
So we're gonna have the supply pack and also the fiber separate for chicks or whatever?
Yeah, I want to start carrying the DHG custom blends as something that a new line that we will have available.
Very, very cool.
Yes, so and they work great for shingling and or fur, depending on the blend.
So if somebody's a total beginner, maybe watch something else first.
Yes, make something else first.
Okay.
Especially also because I won't be as beginnery in all my explanations. So, all right, we should start. Get ready.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh shoot, I forgot. Milo.
What?
Can you come back? I forgot something.
You had more to say.
I did. I just wanted to say that we are going to be using a few tools in addition to the supply pack. So you always need needles and a felting surface, but the Digit Widget, which helps us make distances in the armature, and the Zoli tool, which helps us make shapes with the wool, and Swax, which is you really do need for the toes on this one. So those are a few kind of extra tools that we will be using.
Regular Swax, or do they need a pigment?
I just use them regular.
All right.
Yep. All right.
So wait, we're starting now?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm going to open up the supply pack. Like I said, this makes two. So first thing we need is our wires. But let me take out. This is so cool. So this is for the webbed feet. A little bit of DHG Merino pre-felt. We've got our yellow core. We've got our off-white chunky core, which is going to be for the majority of the project. We've got a bundle of accent colors. Never a bad idea when you get a kit that makes 2 or 3 of something to, take your color and split it into 2 and make 2 piles so that when you're felting that you have 2 equal piles of color. So I'm just going to do that real quick. I'm not going to worry about the core wool because I know there's tons. There's my 2 ducks. And then...
That's some pretty good stuff
oh
there.
Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. This I would split in two also. But we always give plenty, but it's just like I said, then you know what you're working with. All right, so I have my fiber split up, and now I'm going to split up my wires. Each duckling gets 3 22 gauge wires and 2 14 gauge wires. One long, one short. 14 and 20 inches, I believe.
I normally list those
Yes,
on the page, so
Yep.
20 inches and 14 inches.
So the 20 inch is actually where we're going to start. We're going to find the center. And then I think, my first duckling, I didn't feel like I got the character as much. And then by the third, I sort of figured it out. And I wasn't making the bill wide enough. So a nice big 1.25 inch loop. This is going to be the bill. And then from here, you're going to twist 4.25 inches. Just a nice gentle twist. You don't have to crank too hard. Maybe 1 or 2 more. There we go. Let me grab my other armature so I have it to show.
So a big bill, huh?
Big bill. Like a Grant. What? Isn't Grant on it? Grant's on a 50. I don't know. Who's on the 100? Who's on the 100?
Hamilton?
Hamilton?
I don't know.
My boys said that I look like Andrew Jackson on the 20.
Wow, your boys are so
My
nice.
boys, sometimes they say something nice. Okay. Then I'm going to use my thumb to make a rounded head. So come up from the back of the beak and then just give yourself a nice little candy cane to the head. I think I need to twist this one more time. It's kind of a little crazy. No, I was right where I was. I shouldn't second guess. But I should measure. What did I say? 1.25 inches? Yes. Okay. Now, with this armature, we're going to find the center of our 14-inch wire, our second wire. And it's a little weird. If you put it on this way, oh, I know what it is. It's because normally this is going to make the back of the animal. But in this case, this is going to make the legs of the animal. So we want to put it on this way, onto his back, instead of onto the front of the neck. Onto his back. That way, it's already pointing down, and then it's going to get 2 full twists and be pointing down again. So I'm going to twist the short and long wire together on each side. 1, 2. One, 2. So now his leg wires are pointing down the way they should be. And then these two just come together in a nice little, keep that little triangle there, and just give this a couple of twists. This should end up being about 2.5 inches, this distance from the leg to the end of the twist. And I'm going to, usually I fold pointy ends over, but I'm going to leave them sticking out because I don't want a big chunk, and I'm going to cap it with 22 gauge wire, so it is going to have a soft turn there.
I feel like you might need a duck to talk about.
Need a duck?
Stuff.
I just need a duck to love and pet. You can watch, duck. Watch me make your brother. Oh, stand up. Stand up. Okay. Legs. This is going to be 1 3/4 to a backwards bend. That's his little ankle there, and then 1 3/4 to his foot. I feel like I did this a little short. Oh, that's good. Okay. And then once you have your foot bend, the rest of the wire is going to make a triangle and then a little backwards pointing toe. So this is going to get folded around and be the triangle on which all of the toes are built, and then also just a little stabilizer toe back here. Really on the ducks this is up a little higher, but we want to put it here on our ducks because otherwise it is really hard to make them stand up. And nobody's going to know the difference. Unless your duck expert friend comes over.
Yes. And they'll still be impressed with how close you got it.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to use my pliers, and from 1/2 inch from this bend here to start the foot, I'm going to turn it. It doesn't matter if you're right-handed, you probably actually want to turn to the right, but I'm left-handed, so I turn to the left because that lets me put my wire. If I keep this open this way, then when I wrap my wire down, I can go right in there. But if you're right-handed, you probably want to keep it open by bending it to the right. So I'm turning my feet to the left 1/2 inch and then 1/2 inch. So you get these two little triangles. Now he gets his toes. So I'm going to use the 22 gauge wire. And I'm just going to start at the top of the leg and start twisting down. And then I'm going to go ahead and twist out towards this outer corner of the toe. I should do one right-handed. I've gotten pretty good about doing some things right-handed. Or I just make all the right-handers suffer, as I have my entire life.
Now's your chance to get back.
So I'm using the 5 and 6 steps on the digit widget. If you don't have a digit widget, that is 1 1/4 and 1 1.5 inches. So I'm going to do my first toe as a little 1 1/4 inch one. And then I'm going to wrap around the wire one complete time. Just get a little stability and space before I do my next toe, which is a 1 1/2 inch one. I'm just holding the digit widget even with the flat part of the foot. And then I just slide it out. And then go around the wire one time and do another 1 1/4 inch. And then go around your foot just to get everything secured, and then close the loop up. And then I just come around the whole foot just to help keep my loop closed. And then you're going to go out this back toe and just fold it over so that you are covering that pointy end of the wire with your 22 gauge wire. If you come back with anything, make sure you're going in the same direction so that you don't get X's and bumps. So there's your foot. You can give these a twist at the base if you want to. It does help keep it locked down a little bit. Tea time.
It's looking pretty ducky already. You look like you have something you want to say.
Well, I was just thinking about what duck rhymes with.
Truck?
Mm-hmm. Pluck.
Stuck?
Good one. We should see how many we can go. Cluck.
Mm-hmm. We're like in middle school.
It's okay.
Why was the teacher annoyed with the duck?
I don't know why.
Because he wouldn't quit quacking jokes.
Kind of like you.
Well, you know, and the middle school reference. I think it was well played.
I'm kind of like the teacher. Never annoyed with you, ever.
Nope. It's impossible, really.
Mm-hmm. All right, just 3 toes around this wire to secure it. Close the loop around the whole loop, and then out the back toe with a little fold over. Now, this is where things get exciting. Say goodbye to your digit widget. See you later, digit widget. Say goodbye to your pliers. Oh, I'm jumping ahead. I thought we were ready for wool. We have one more wire. So this goes around the tail with enough to stick off the end and fold over so that you cover the pointy end. And then it goes, I just come up between the legs to the body, up the body. It always annoys me that my wrap twist goes the opposite direction than my armature twist. But it's, you know.
It's buried and mostly doesn't matter because it's very thick through there.
Yeah. And then, yes, so if I'm twisting 2 legs together, like 2 wires together to make a leg, I really do try to pay attention to which way I do it.
Because they stay skinny.
And then you do want to kind of work this around the bill a little bit. So it just involves weaving. That's why I start at the tail, because now I have a shorter piece of wire. You just have to keep weaving your wire through to get it to wrap around this. There we go. And then whenever you wrap back, you want to make sure that you are matching your initial wrap so that you're not crossing it. Which you can't tell because I'm crossing my other wire. All right, now we're ready for fiber. And I need my notes and my swags. Okay. We're going to use butterscotch, which is a really actually very nice, appropriate duck leg and foot color. That's why we put it in your kit.
Pretty smart.
Yep. And so first we want to wrap the toes and just get them well wrapped, and then we'll do the legs. So I'm going to work with about a 3-inch piece and then split that in half. So we have a nice thin piece. Maybe even stretch that out a little bit. So my swax is warming up on, oh, this has a little bit of pigment in it, but that's okay. It's warming up on a little plate on my mug warmer. Ah, tiny toes. These aren't terribly tiny.
No, they're still a little fussy, I would guess.
A little fussy. You know what's more fussy is the web. the webbing. So these don't have to be like super duper skinny.
Because they kind of get covered.
But the little tip does. And so I'm just going to wrap down. When I get close to the end, I'm going to put some swax on. And then I'm going to wrap the wool into the swax and press it in. And now I'm going to go back. I like when I do a little toe to have enough fiber to go out and back, because that's really, you're not felting very much. And so the fiber anchoring around the foot is what's really holding it on well. So when I get here, if I need to, I can stab with my needles.
Wow.
That would be the first step of felting, is getting some needles.
I know. Terrible. I should have. Thank you. Brand new.
Yeah.
I feel so lucky.
Yeah.
Usually I'm scrounging on the 200 used ones that are laying around. Next toe. I probably won't do every toe on camera, but I will definitely do a couple more.
Yeah, I zoomed.
Okay. Good, because I know this armature is kind of flapping around in there.
A little twist. You need that for
Oh,
later.
thank you. I love the grab of that swax.
What'd the duck say when he dropped the dishes?
Dropped the dishes. Why dishes specifically? Something about China?
He said, I hope I didn't quack any.
Oh. Alright, so pretty much quack as crack is going to be a part.
Quack, yes. There's a lot of quacking.
Alright, I'm going to show the back toe. And then I'm going to let you wrap your toes in peace. It's the same thing. It's no different.
It's just easier because it's shorter. Less to do.
I guess so.
Or it's harder because it's shorter.
It's a little harder because it's the 14 gauge with that other wire stuck around. It's not hard. It's just, you just got to get it, keep everything in place, really. No, I'm wrapping the wrong way, which is awkward.
And this is partially why this is not a beginner or even a 2, getting more to a 3 because of some of this little fussing.
Yeah, I mean, we do it on the chicks. Yeah.
The more you do it,
Yeah.
the better you'll be.
Yeah. You can't stab around this. There's a lot of wire in there, so it's really good for it to be. I'll just do one more since I have the wool here.
If anyone out there's having trouble, really watch Sarah's fingers, where she's holding it, how she's holding the armature in one hand, keeps that thumb right on what she's just wrapped.
And then bitch on Seraphina Felting Fanfare.
How
Because
terrible
we
it
all
is.
do. About how much difficulty you're having. Who loves them? Debbie Diener loves them?
She loves them. Told her she should offer some kind of paid service.
I'm really just stabbing on the foot at the base to make sure it doesn't come undone. Okay.
All right,
when
so-
we return, we will
Yes.
have both feet
Do
wrapped.
your other foot.
Okay, let's get a little bit of fiber on the legs, and then we do the beak, and then we start with our chunky core. So for the legs, I want to take a nice, about 6-inch piece. I'm just going to stretch this out rather than ripping it in half, because I just want to get a nice, good wrap on the leg here. So if I'm just starting at the top of a wire, if I just go around that top pretty tightly, it holds itself down, like it clamps on itself. I mean, you'll have a little bit of fringe. But it's not going to come loose, is what I'm trying to say. And you can get pretty good at putting the bulk of the wool in between the twists, and that kind of evens it out a little bit. And then when I get down here, I'm going to do one more. I'm just going to go around the foot. And this foot gets an entire other treatment, so that's plenty of fiber for now. Okay, other side. So it's spring when we're filming this. It's finally spring.
It's a little chilly out, but
It's cold today. We had a nice weekend-ish, except for the rain. I don't mind the rain when it's warm. It's nice when it's warm.
yeah, cold rain is the pits. So what did the duck say when the waiter brought the check?
Put it on my bill.
Yes.
That is like the oldest one ever.
Yes.
I think there's some pretty good, like, aren't there like duck walked into a bar ones? Or maybe that's the same one. Or something about, but can I borrow some chapstick or something like that? Put it on my bill.
Put it on my bill. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
What are some interesting duck tidbits or proverbs?
I did not look up duck proverbs. I got a few duck facts.
Hit me with a duck fact.
Here's one. Ducks sleep with half of their brains awake. They're more likely to sleep with one eye open when they're located on the edge of a sleeping group. They can detect predators in less than a second.
Wow.
So do they ever really sleep if half their brain's awake? And do they have little machines hooked up to duck heads to see if their brains are actually half asleep? Who figures these facts out?
I don't know. Okay, now we need to get some off-white on the body. Oh, let me wrap the bill. That's also with butterscotch. I think that's what I did. Or maybe I just do it in, let's do it in your gnome nude, which is this fleshy colored core. And because I split the piece that was in the kit in half, I have about a 6-inch piece here. I'm going to take about a quarter of it off. And then I'm just going to wrap this. Their bills generally, you know, the little fluffy yellow ducks that I'm looking at, generally are a little pinker and fleshier than their feet are a little more orangey. And so I'm just getting a nice, thin, consistent layer around the bill. And so on this bill armature, it's going to be the top of the bill. Nope, I lied. It's the bottom. And we make the top out of a ghost shape. I could use a little stabby wabby.
Oh,
Yeah.
little neck support.
They're little super, super handy little things. I feel like I'm a spastic stabber lately.
Conveniently,
Thank you.
there are two.
Thank you. Okay, now we're ready for off-white chunky core. So I was looking at this right when I thought I could make it a little smaller. Okay, off-white chunky core. Let's work with some nice 8-inch pieces that we're going to quarter. Oh, I love this wool.
It's very fluffy.
And we're going to do a bunch of different wraps here. Just get things going. I'm going to start right in front of the hind legs and go up the body and neck and head with one piece. I'm just following the wire right now up to the bill. Now I'm going to do one from one on the tail. So it's just going to go out and back. Out and then turn around and go back. Ducklings are pretty different from chicks in their shapes that their body makes. So a reference picture is always really helpful. And now I have two more pieces. I'm going to do a figure 8 between the legs here. So that looks like this. Stretch it out a little. It goes, I'm going to turn them upside down so you can see. It goes across between one leg and the other. Then you have to go over the back and then across the other way. Then you have to go over the back and across and across. Actually, I can use some reference pictures. I will open those up shortly to make sure I'm not leading us astray here. And then your last piece from this set of 4 is going to do the figure 8 crisscross in here to make the head nice and round. So I start towards the top of this, if we call this a rainbow, I start towards the top of it and crisscross underneath, in between, every time I go around, working my way down. And then after I've done, 2 or 3 like that, I can just go around the whole thing. It's so funny.
It already looks like a duck.
That is the test of a good armature, is when something starts looking. Then it goes through, it's like, what the heck is that phase? And then it comes back to you. Alrighty. We need more here. So I'm going to take another 8-inch piece, quarter it. I'm going to go up and back, just right here. So I'm going to keep the neck skinny. And I almost sort of start avoiding this part of the neck because they have that cute little skinny neck. That's one of the things that makes them different from chicks. So by going up towards the neck and back, like there, and now I'm going to turn around. I got to stretch this out so that I make it. I'm just building up this bottom a little bit and tapering it as it goes up towards the head. Then we want to do a figure 8 here. And that looks like, I've got another quarter. And that goes around the belly body, over the back, around the butt body, over the back, around the belly body, or the chest, over the back, until you run out of the piece. I might do that again.
So you are not going between the legs.
Not going between the legs on that one. The crisscrosses on the back. These are all like infinity symbols, really. It's just a matter of where do your loops go and where do the, or figure 8s, whatever works for you. Let's see, I have 2 more quarters. I think I want to do that one again. Maybe a little bit. I'm going to do a wrap around here. I'm just wrapping this a little bit more. Then I'm going to jump over the back, and just to keep it consistent, go under the butt and crisscross over the back. Anytime you cross something one way, you want to cross it the other way. And I don't know if I need this last piece or not. I think I need to check where I am. If anything, I would put it on the tail. But before I check that, one thing I do know is that I want to build up the thighs a little bit, and that I'm going to do with the chick yellow core, because I know they're going to pretty much be that color, and I'm getting towards the top. So now I have a few more shapes to put on the body with the off-white chunky core, but as I start working on head shapes and leg shapes, I want to use the chick yellow because it's closer to the color of the duckling fluff.
Would you suggest splitting this in half as well, since that one bundle is for?
In the beginning I said, the core wool, I know there's plenty.
Okay.
But you could split your core wool as well. It's just so much of it I didn't bother splitting it in half. Okay, so wrap the tops of the legs in chick yellow core. So we want about a 4-inch piece that we're going to split in half lengthwise. And we're going to hit the thighs here. So I'm going to start on the body, go around maybe 2 times, and this is going to be the 3rd time, and then I'm going to come back up and return to the body. So just gives them a little thigh and pulls the leg together with the body so it looks less like a spindly little thing sticking out of a big poofy body. So those of you who have done a lot of our projects, you're going to start to see how the same like wraps and shapes get used all the time. So this is a really common wrap that I use a lot to pull the upper leg together with the body. This one I'm doing one more because it needed it. The wool was a little thinner, so that was about 4 times around. But the result is the same as the other side. And the fringe just gets felted onto the body here. Wrap from legs up, neck, and okay. All right. Now, one of the things that ducklings makes them a little ducklingy is their chest, which the chicks have as well. But the chicks don't have this like hump on their back that the dumplings have. And dumplings? Did I say dumplings?
You did say dumplings.
Because I was getting ready to say, and their dumpy butt. So to make those, we're going to take 3 6-inch. Oh, wait, how am I doing this? Long wrap. Okay. So I said 3 6 inches, but that can't be right. That's way too much. So I'm taking a 6-inch piece of Corwall. It's like, people are going to be like, what is she saying? Because my brain is jumping way ahead and I'm mixing things up. A 6-inch piece of off-white chunky core. I'm gonna break it into thirds and make these 3 pillows. And this is where the Zully comes in, which I don't.
Yes.
Which
is a very large, exciting event. Everyone will wait for the Zully tool.
Yeah. And then
to appear.
we're gonna use the flat side, and you're gonna take this third, and just a little on the loose side, just go straight around. You're just making like this big, soft pillow 3 times.
As a point of reference, if you're using a regular size Stab-It, Sarah's on the Mega Stab-It. So if your pillow seems like really big, it's not if it's on a regular Stab-It.
When you make these shapes on the Zully tool, if you pull out the end, like so that it's a little bit drafted and thinner, then that is going to hold the whole, that wispy piece is going to hold the whole thing together. Versus if you end it in like more of an abrupt chunk, it doesn't want to like cling to everything. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this one goes like this on the chest. We're going to call this vertically, up and down. And I'm just stabbing in at the sides to get it stuck on there. And then one goes on his little, makes his little hunchback. And so that one, your stomach is making a lot of noise.
My belly's making noises. Sorry about that.
That one goes, it's not up here. Look up a dunk.
Look up, you don't.
A dunkling. I can't talk today.
It's a dunkling. It's a dumpling.
It's a dumpling. It sets back a little bit. So from the chest one. So maybe like an inch staggered lower.
Do you know what a female grown duck is called?
And
a
I
male.
know what a male is. A male is a drake.
Yes, see, you know so many things.
I don't know what the
I did not
female
know that.
is.
It's called a hen, which I found interesting.
Come on. Like,
Come up with a new word, right?
yeah, come up with a new word. I'm telling you, we had ducks growing up. Their ducklings are adorable.
Yeah.
Okay. Ducks can be kind of weird.
Grown ducks?
Yeah. And then this one goes on his little butt. So I take the tapered edge and let it, I'm just letting it taper even more towards this chest piece. But then I want the bulk of it to be a little dumpy butt. Right behind his legs, between the back of his legs and the end of the tail. I'll show it from the side in a second so that you can see it. See a good shot. So it is like this very distinctive shape that they have. So it's like boop, boop, and then boop. Take a long piece of off-white chunky core. Let's do 12 inches. So that's like if you've got a small Stab-It, it's the long side of your Stab-It. If you've got a big Stab-It, it's the side. And split it in half lengthwise. And then give that a nice stretch. And we're just going to wrap the whole body with all our pieces attached to bring it all together. So now it's more like 18 inches now that I've stretched it out. So for me, I'm thinking I'll do one around here. So this you want to be kind of like a nice wide ribbon sort of that you're just like girdling everything. And then I'm crossing over the back, going under the butt, and then I'm going to come, like I said, if you cross one way, you should cross the other way. And that just swaddles all his little shapes together. And so now they're in there. The whole thing gets covered with fluff, so, but you do want this smooth.
You don't want it too loose.
You don't want it too loose, and you don't want it all bumpy. So now I can kind of reestablish some of the shapes here by stabbing it around them a little bit. And then also when you put the fluff on, you stab this like so much more. But that wrap should be, you know, it's broad, but not super loose. Like it should still feel like the same consistency as everything that you've done so far. Not like some loose thing on top of it. If it is, either wrap it again or stab it. Stab it a lot. But I really try to wrap in a way that I don't have to do a lot of stabbing. So there we go. So now we're pretty much ready to start with the off-white chunky core and making, the chick yellow and making like face shapes and stuff like that.